Hi, welcome to this week's What's on the Whiteboard. It's Christina Nichols with NicholsGPS, and I'm here to continue the conversation about creating an annual plan. This week we're talking about creating our ideal donor persona. So this is really taking the idea of a buyer persona from a marketing perspective and tying it into the donor point of view. Although, some people like to say that what we do in fundraising is very similar to marketing and communications, and I would say, yeah, there are a lot of similarities. It's not sales, though. It's not marketing necessarily. It's a little bit different bend on it. So we're going to start with thinking about why do we even need a persona for our donors. So really what we're trying to think about is what motivates them, what is their worldview, and what kind of tone should we be using with them. And the best way to do that is to really get into the minds of your donors. So I suggest that the first thing you really want to do is actually create kind of a mock persona. So in your organization, you may have one or two different kinds of donors. I would suggest not trying to get too big with this. Like, we're not talking all of the different segmentation types that we might have within our data, but let's say you are a university. You're going to have an alumni persona, and you're going to have maybe a parent persona. But outside of that, don't make it too complicated. Otherwise, your message starts to become too complex, and your focus starts to, well, become unfocused, truly. So what I would suggest is the first thing you do is to create a bio, like really actually create this person. And so let's say that our ideal donor, what we really want is, so in creating the bio, like, what's a socioeconomic kind of indicator of your ideal donor? What is their annual income? What do they do for a job? Where do they live? What kind of neighborhood is it? Kind of create this picture, almost a story around who they are. What do they listen to? What do they watch? Are they kind of hip to what the latest shows are on Netflix, or are they much more of a radio listener? Where are they getting their information from, and what is helping to shape their worldview? So really going to create this bio. And I would say to even go so far is to create a name and an age, their family type if they have one, and to make it even more fun, heck, why not actually find a picture online or make a little picture of who they are, who he or she is as your ideal customer, your ideal donor. So what do you do once you've narrowed down who and what their bio looks like? Well, this is going to help you to target your messaging towards them. What you're really trying to get at is, what fears do they have about the world today? So what are their fears? What is it about your mission that talks to these fears and shows them that everything's going to be okay? Now, we don't actually know if it's going to be okay, but let's hope that the work that we're doing is trying to solve the fears of some people in our society, right? And then, if money was no object, what would your ideal donor do to address their fears about the world and society and what's happening today? So another key piece to this, if you really want to take this far and if your organization is open to it, is to actually interview a handful of people who have been donors to your organization and ask them what motivates you to give. What are your fears about what's happening in the world today? Ask them, heck, maybe don't ask them about their income and those types of things, but you can sort of find that out in other ways with prospect research. But what do they listen to? What do they watch? Where do they get their news? Where do they get their information? What does a normal week look like for them? And really try to craft a persona around them. And then in the next video, we'll talk more about how we're going to actually put all of this into practice. But this person right here is going to become front of mind for you for the year as you craft your communications. So I do have an email newsletter. I wanted to throw this out there that comes out every month. And For those who subscribe, what I'll be doing is creating a worksheet for you to walk through this with your organization. So if you subscribe to the Nichols GPS monthly newsletter, you will receive a worksheet to help you create your ideal donor persona. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to wrapping up annual plans next week. And thank you, as always, for continuing to support Nichols GPS and What's on the Whiteboard. Have a fantastic week. Talk with you soon.